This report was prepared an independent analyst for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. It is based on publicly available information and does not include any confidential or non-public information. We are presenting our executive due diligence report on HLX22, an anti-𝗟𝗟𝗏 monoclonal antibody from Henlius, a biopharmaceutical company based in China. 1. Company and program overview. Henlius has announced a key regulatory milestone. Its anti-𝗟𝗟𝗏 monoclonal antibody, HLX22, has received Orphan Drug Designation (ODD) from both the European Commission EC and the US FDA for 𝗕𝗟𝗢𝗏 gastric cancer. Notably, this makes HLX22 the first anti-𝗟𝗟𝗏 therapy in the world to receive dual ODD status for this indication. Upon receiving the news, shares of Henlius rose nearly 5% on the day of the announcement. In this report, we'll discuss the rationale behind HLX22's development, its mechanism of action and value proposition compared to existing therapies. Additionally, we'll review its clinical trial data, regulatory pathway, market landscape, competitive positioning, and strategic outlook to estimate its peak sales potential and corresponding fair share price. 2. Mechanism of action and value proposition. HLX22 targets subdomain of the 𝗟𝗟𝗏 receptor, which is distinct from the binding site of trastuzumab. This allows HLX22 to bind simultaneously with trastuzumab, resulting in dual blockade of the 𝗟𝗟𝗏 receptor. Compared to trastuzumab, HLX22 binding induces more pronounced 𝗟𝗟𝗏 receptor internalization and degradation. This suggests that HLX22 may overcome resistance mechanisms commonly associated with current HER2-directed therapies, such as those involving the 𝗟𝗟𝗏 dimerization and downstream signaling. Key value drivers for HLX22 include 1. Novel epitope binding. HLX22 can bind to a unique epitope on the 𝗟𝗟𝗏 receptor, enabling co-treatment with trastuzumab without competitive inhibition. This could allow for combination therapy without the need to sequentially switch between the two agents, improving convenience and adherence for patients. 2. Synergistic activity. Preclinical studies have shown that HLX22 enhances the anti-tumor activity of trastuzumab and chemotherapy, leading to improved outcomes in 𝗟𝗟𝗏+ gastric cancer. 3. Unmet clinical need. Currently, there are limited targeted treatment options for 𝗟𝗟𝗏+ gastric cancer beyond trastuzumab monotherapy, which often faces challenges related to acquired resistance and suboptimal efficacy. 4. Future expansion potential. While the current ODD designation and development program focus on gastric cancer, HLX22 may be later expanded into other 𝗟𝗟𝗏+ cancers like breast cancer. 3. Regulatory and clinical development status. HLX22 has received several important designations and has shown promising results in clinical trials. Key milestones include ODD from FDA, received in March 2025, ODD from EC, received in May 2025. Phase 2 clinical data showed significant improvements in progression-free survival (PFS) and overall response rates, or compared to trastuzumab plus chemotherapy in patients with 𝗟𝗟𝗏+ advanced gastric cancer who had not received prior anti-𝗟𝗟𝗏 therapy. 4. Market landscape and competitive positioning. The market for anti-𝗟𝗟𝗏 therapies is super competitive, but HLX22 has some cool features that could set it apart. First off, it's the first anti-𝗟𝗟𝗏 monoclonal antibody with dual ODD designation for gastric cancer, giving it a prime first-to-market shot. Plus, it targets a different HER2 domain than trastuzumab, which could help tackle resistance issues. The ODD status also means 10 years of market exclusivity in the EU after approval, along with some nice regulatory perks. But there's still competition from newbie-specific 𝗟𝗟𝗏 therapies, and trastuzumab is the current go-to treatment. If HLX22 shows better results and manageable safety in trials, it could snag a solid spot in the market. 5. Strategic outlook and market access strategy. Over the next few years, Henlius is expected to execute on several key milestones related to HLX22. These include completing Phase 3 trials, preparing for and obtaining regulatory filing, securing approvals in major markets, and expanding into broader oncology indications. To maximize the impact of HLX22, Henlius is likely to adopt a value-driven market access strategy that prioritizes early engagement with European and U.S. reimbursement bodies such as NICE and G-BA. This will be crucial for securing favorable cost-effectiveness evaluations and ensuring sustainable long-term access for patients. Additionally, Henlius should focus on generating real-world evidence to support the launch of HLX22 and demonstrate its clinical and economic value in routine clinical practice. Regarding pricing, we anticipate a balanced premium pricing strategy that takes into account the drug's improved survival outcomes and unmet medical need, while also considering the cost of treatment and potential budgetary impact on healthcare systems. For distribution, Henlius is likely to leverage its existing oncology sales channels in China and potentially pursue partnerships in the EU and US to ensure broad market coverage. Successful execution against these milestones and strategies will be vital for the commercial success of HLX22 and ultimately the return Henlius seeks to deliver to shareholders. 6. Economic value over stock estimation. Henlius is a clinical-stage biopharmaceutical company focused on developing and commercializing innovative cancer therapies. Founded in 2011 and headquartered in Shanghai, China, the company has a robust pipeline of drug candidates targeting various cancer types, including gastric, breast, and lung cancer. Henlius utilizes a patient-centric approach to drug development, prioritizing the creation of high-quality medicines that address unmet medical needs and improve patient outcomes. The company has established a strong presence in China and is actively pursuing global opportunities to bring its therapies to patients worldwide. In conclusion, HLX22 represents a highly differentiated, first-in-class dual 𝗟𝗪2 blockade therapy for HER2-positive gastric cancer. With dual ODD designation, strong Phase 2 data, and global Phase 3 development in progress, Henlius is well-positioned to capitalize on a first-mover advantage. If the company executes its access and launch strategy effectively, HLX22 may deliver significant commercial returns and shareholder value within the next 3 to 5 years. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below.